Welcome to Just Koryzma, episode 17. I'm your host, Brayden Koryzma. Alongside me today is Denby, Cossey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. She is an LPN, and she likes to have fun. I don't know. She's got lots going on. So, what is an LPN? Like for the people who don't know.
I'm a licensed practical nurse. So, on the scale of healthcare, we work in a really varied team. So, we're somewhere in the middle. So we have care aides that work with us, but they don't have as broad a scope of practice. Like, they don't deal with any meds, they don't deal with any stuff like that. And then there's us. We're nurses, but we have registered nurses who are kind of a step above. Their understanding of a lot of things is a little deeper, and their education is a lot longer. It's twice the length as our education.
Okay.
Yeah, so they just have a little bit more in-depth knowledge and that sort of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but we work everywhere that an RN does, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why did you decide to do it?
I've been asking myself that a lot recently. I come from a long line of nurses. So,
right.
My great-grandmother was a psychiatric nurse.
Right.
My grandmother worked in healthcare, and my mom started off as a care aide. She upgraded to her LPN, and now she's a psychiatric nurse as well.
Okay.
So I'm kind of the fourth generation to go into healthcare in that respect. But they say you don't know what to do, go into a trade.
True.
So
it's very true.
I mean, nursing is a tough career to be in, but it's really rewarding in that respect. You're always learning, you're always
right.
growing, and it's really never a dull moment. So
okay.
Yeah.
So then, are you gonna progress further than the LPN?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a place where you eventually want to get to?
Eventually, I want to be a nurse practitioner, which is kind of like a bridge between a nurse and a doctor.
Okay.
So you go to your family doctor, and he can prescribe tests like X-rays and stuff like that if you break your arm, or prescribe you medicine,
okay.
stuff like that. And that a nurse practitioner can do that, just not to the same degree.
Okay.
They can prescribe pretty basic stuff like, oh, you have a cold, or you have an infection, here's some antibiotics. Don't take antibiotics for a cold. That was a mistake. They don't need antibiotics. But they can prescribe antibiotics and
right.
basic pain medications if you're having issues like that. So
okay.
That's kind of where I want to end up. But we'll see. There's so much to do in every step of the way.
Sure.
That I'm trying to get a really broad experience under my belt before I try to make any other decisions like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to get there, what kind of steps do you have to take? Is there just a bunch more schooling and then some bunch of practicums kind of thing?
So right now as an LPN, I can bridge into the RN program depending on where you go and who you do it through. You can do it in about 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get an extra year of school in the end because you're RN, you need a Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree.
Okay.
So it's a 4-year program, but depending on where you go, you can do it in 2.5, 3 years.
Right.
But you just have that much more experience under your belt.
Yeah.
You already know the ins and outs. You don't need to be taught a lot of things. You just need the extra little bit. You need to that extra little dive a little deeper into
right.
some things, and
okay.
then you can really specialize.
Okay, and I guess there's just many different kind of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's specific places in the hospital that you need a lot more training for, like the intensive care unit. You need another year of school on top of your regular degree.
Okay.
Places like the ER, you need to take special courses. In the operating room, you need to take special courses. But that's just because it's such a detail and high pressure specialty that they try to...
they want to make sure you're as prepared as
as possible.
Yeah.
And you have a better understanding, because nursing is really... Our education is great, but it's blanket. It's, here's a little taste of everything, here's what you need to know to basically do your job effectively with everybody, but it's not this is what you're going to be dealing with all the time, you need to know everything about it.
Right.
Whereas if you go into something like the operating room, you need to know the ins and outs. You need to know, like, you're counting instruments, you're doing stuff like that. Or the ER, you need to know, like, how to do a lot of things really fast. And,
right, yeah, because I guess it's emergency, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's those people that come into emergency because you don't want to go to the clinic because you know you're just going to get an x-ray or something like that,
right.
It's not super urgent, but then there's those ones that come in from ambulance and you're like, okay, we need to get this done fast, so.
Yeah, I always notice, like, because, like, if I ever have to go to the emergency room, it's because the clinics are closed or, like, I've been refused at clinics or stuff. Mm-hmm. And then you sit there for, like, 4 hours and it's forever. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
But, I mean, it makes sense, though. There's a lot going priorities and stuff. It always doesn't seem like it, though, because you always see, like, a handful of, like, nurses and stuff just kind of, like, chilling. Having fun. And you're like, just patch me up, doc. Like...
Yeah. And the doctors are really busy, too, right? Like...
Because there's just only, like, 1 or 2, usually.
Yeah. And a lot of people are there for the same kind of stuff, right? Like, okay, I know that if I go to a walk-in, they're just going to send me here for this. So, skip the middleman, go to ER. Yeah. Because I'm going to need x-rays and...
Blah, blah, blah. Like,
exactly.
The whole 9, yeah.
I can just get this all done in one stop.
Yeah.
If I just go.
It might take a little longer, but then you're also reducing that clinic time.
Yeah, exactly, right? You're not backing up the clinic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, with your job, you mostly help, like, I guess, like, older folks, right?
Yeah, so I have technically 2 jobs. I work in long-term care, which is your, like, residential care. So people are there for a long time, and that becomes their home. And yes, that's a lot of senior population. But there's the odd younger person that just has physical disabilities that can't take care of themselves at home.
Right.
Which... really sucks, but I work in the hospital as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a lot of the same as well, but because people are backing up, that's why they're there. But you get a lot that are like, okay, this is really like, you're here for a reason. Yeah. You're not just here waiting for a bed, you're here because you're sick.
Yeah, like there's something like wrong.
Yeah.
And like, which one of the 2 do you prefer? Like, I'm sure they both have their ups and downs.
They do. Long-term care is more comfortable and stable, so you're really routined. You know them very well. It's the same, not all the time, but it's more predictable. Whereas in the hospital, you don't know who you're gonna have.
No.
It's just a huge learning opportunity, and there's just a lot more to be thinking about. You're using a lot more of your brain and your skills.
Okay.
So it's more intense, but it's also kind of more, not fun, but it's more challenging and more stimulating.
For sure, because you don't really know what's going to come through the door. So you're just like, you kind of always have to be prepared for a situation that you're not really prepared for.
Yeah, exactly. You have to just be on your toes all the time.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like, I guess it's kind of like what Logan and I do. I mean, like, you don't really know what you're walking into until you get there.
Yeah, and then it's like the residential versus the
commercial.
The commercial, yeah.
For sure. And then, like, you just gotta sit there, come up with a game plan. I mean, yours is a little more drastic. You have to figure it out pretty instantaneously.
Yeah, but it's not just it's not just you though, right? Like like you, I'm part of a team, so I have my other nurses. I have the doctors. There's physiotherapists. There's occupational therapists. There's all sorts of people there with a wide range of expertise that are all in on everything. Yeah. So it's a very like multidisciplinary team, we call it, approach. Okay. So it's very holistic. Like, we know that this is that's keeping you from being home. Work on that, right? Like, this is wrong, so we're gonna fix it. This is how. Okay, what do you think? What do you think? Like, right. It's not just I need to make a decision. Right. I need to execute it. It's like, here, what do you think?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. So you're telling me earlier you've been dealing with social anxiety. So let's dive into that.
Let's dive into
So like, when did you like just kind of discover that you had social anxiety? Like
years ago.
Yeah. Like, was this like in high school? You kind of more
elementary school.
Elementary school.
Yeah. Yeah. I struggled with it for a very long time, and even to this day, like I have a hard time going into new situations. Like,
right.
this is even out of my comfort zone, but I'm trying to do this learn and grow thing, right?
Right.
So in elementary school, it was really hard for me to, like, make friends and meet new people. So I really stuck to my comfort zone and who I know, who I can trust and stuff like that, and I didn't really stray from that.
Right.
And then in high school, it was like, okay, there's a lot more people here because there was 100 kids at my elementary school, and going to a high school where you're, like, with hundreds of kids, and I was probably one of the youngest because my birthday is so late.
Right.
So I was 12 with, like, 18 and 19-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
That just, like, scared me.
It's just, like, such a
it's
age
such
difference,
an
right?
age
Like,
gap, right?
You
like,
go from, like, someone with, like, almost no experience to, like, someone who's, I guess you
like,
can't really say it, but they're more experienced.
But, like, nearly an adult,
yeah.
right? Like, how was that? Yeah, so it was, like, trying to meet new people and make new friends, and then college was even more intense because you're actually with adults. Like, I started university at 16, pretty much.
Right.
So I was, again, the youngest in a classroom of people that are far more experienced and that have already graduated because I hadn't at that point.
Right.
So it was like, oh my goodness, I need to start learning how to put myself out there. And it was hard at first, but through college and university, and then even, like, in my life post-grad, like, I've done a lot more volunteering and put myself into situations where I am uncomfortable. And through those, like, I did public speaking.
Okay.
I don't know if Logan told you, but I did public speaking through a volunteering group that I am part of, and I cracked doing the last stage that I got to, and I started crying, and then I picked myself up with help from other people, and I just did it. So it was one of those, like, holy, that was scary, but look at me now. I did it. I spoke in front of hundreds of people, and I'm here. I'm alive. People are congratulating me and saying how brave I am.
Yeah.
Because I fell, but I picked myself back up.
Of course, right? You didn't just...
I didn't just run away and hide from the things that are scaring me anymore. I'm trying to jump into them and face my fears head on.
So then, like, how are you able to get into your... Like, I mean, like, so when... I guess something comes up where you can get out of your comfort zone, how are you convincing yourself? Or, like, what are you just saying yes and just, like, so that way you're kind of like, I'm committed now?
Yeah. So, like, I got this new job at the hospital, and right away they said, hey, we want you all summer. We need you in this line. It's only temporary, but it's full-time. It'll give you the experience that you need to be successful moving forward if you're staying and going casual. And I was like, yes, I have to say yes now, because if you give me any time to think about it, I will talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
Right? So I just said yes. So now, coming to the end of my orientation in a couple of weeks, like, I just have to do it. Mm-hmm. I won't have anybody to hold my hand, but I know I'll have a team there.
Yeah, and they're not going to let you just fall, right? Like,
no.
So, I mean, they're going to be there to, support you and, like, teach you, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
It's just like a journeyman, so, I mean...
Yeah.
They're not... I'm sure like, everyone's going to make their mistakes, everyone's going to, like... Or be nervous and all that stuff, but, I mean, you just got to... Once you get over that, like, initial hump...
Yeah.
And then you're just golden.
Yeah. So it's getting out of my own head to say yes, and then once I'm in it, just saying, no, you can do this. You've got this.
Yeah.
I didn't go to school for 2 years for nothing.
Yeah, you don't want to go for school, then just be like, you know what? I'm comfortable at this job that I've been doing forever.
Yeah.
And I'll just do that.
Yeah.
And then, like, hate yourself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you wouldn't want that. And, like, that's just, like, that would just fill you with, like, a huge, like, full of regret, and, like, that would just suck.
Yeah. You don't want to live your life saying, oh, what if I had done this? Or
exactly, right?
Because, I mean, even as a nearly 22-year-old, I struggle with that all the time. Like, what if I had done my original plan and, like, went for my PhD? Well, I'd be sitting in the same position I am now, like, where am I going to get my master's? Like, no one's going to take me for a master's. Like, that's kind of the...
Right. But, I mean, yeah. I mean, like, I get it, you know? Like, there's things, like, definitely, like, that you wish you made the different choice. Yeah. But at the same time, like, I'm super happy where I'm at.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's like where it's like where you are in your life. It's like as long as you're happy, it's like that's the content part, right?
Yeah.
So this segment in the show is called the motivational moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how can you describe your passion in 5 words or less?
See, this is the hard part, because, like...
A lot of people have struggled with it.
Yeah, because you can take the question, like, I asked my friend this earlier, and she and I interpreted it so differently.
You totally can. I mean, it could be something you live by, like...
yeah, exactly.
Like, something like, just like anything, or it could be, like, you could literally be passionate about, like, medical work, and it could just be something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I'm passionate about self-improvement and always learning and growing.
Okay.
Sorry, and is a 6th word, but...
But self-improvement,
yeah.
Always learning and growing. I mean,
yeah.
that's good to live by. I mean, like, you're able to recognize kind of where you are and say, like, I want to be here.
Yeah.
I'm, like, here, so what steps do I have to take?
Yeah, exactly.
And then, yeah, like, learning and growing, I mean... You got Logan. That guy's gonna teach you like the silliest facts. You're gonna be like more knowledgeable. Then it's gonna be like, but why do I know this? But yes,
I do that now.
I believe it. Yeah.
Like there's some things that he's just taught me, and I'm like, how do I know that? Why do I know that? And I think about it, I'm like, because Logan said it.
Yeah. For anyone wondering, Logan is Denby's boyfriend. I totally forgot to mention that. But yeah, no. It just totally makes sense, and that's cool. So that's kind of like why that you chose those 5 words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just because of my profession, like, and stuff that I've gone through recently, like, I'm never gonna be perfect, and the inner perfectionist in me hates that. But the only way that I see failing is if I just stay stagnant.
Yeah.
If I see that I've made a mistake and I don't take action to correct that or improve myself from those mistakes, they only stay mistakes if I don't work at changing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, I mean, it's good to fail, because then you learn.
Exactly.
But, like, if you don't try to fix it or, like, learn from it, then
it just stays a failure.
Yeah, it stays a failure, and you can't call it a success.
No, there's no win after it. There's nothing gained from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, you were telling me also that you've been trying to, like... kind of go towards like a healthier lifestyle and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you've been going to the gym. So what's motivated you to kind of get going to that? Like, is it like a couple of friends that were like, we should, or like all like kind of like not jokingly about going, but like kind of semi-serious? So you're like, do I want to go? But
it was one of those things where like, I mean, with social anxiety comes a lot of, for me anyway, comes a lot of self-hatred and self-loathing.
Right.
And I'm so sick of it. I don't want to be in that headspace anymore. And one of the things that I can change is how I feel.
Oh, for sure.
And how I perceive myself. So a physical change is something that I can picture, I can imagine, I can see happening in myself. Whereas some of the other things aren't as tangible. So working on something like that, as I go with my friend all the time. She and I like see each other every day. We go to the gym for the most part when I'm not, working a 12-hour shift.
Yeah.
So it's hard in that regard, but for a while I was going like 6 times a week.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And like working really hard and like trying to eat better, and I mean that's also a struggle with the 12-hour shifts, right? Like
yeah.
But I've been really trying to improve like cooking at home more and like packing good lunches so that I'm not, oh no, I'm super hungry, like gotta go grab something fast.
Right, yeah, like something that's just like quick and easy.
Exactly. And then that it makes me feel better. Like I feel so much better when I'm eating better. Like it's so ridiculous to say out loud because of course, right?
Well,
but like
it's a mental thing, and then also like you feel like you have more energy.
Yeah.
And like you just feel like you just don't feel as like run down by the end of the day. Like if you just load up on like McDonald's all day, by the end of the day
you're gonna feel so gross.
Like Dylan and I, we did a day where we're like, let's eat junk food all day and play video games, and then we went to the gym, and then we're like, no, like I was done. Like it was terrible.
It feels awful.
It totally does, because you just feel like shit, because you're just like, your body doesn't have any. There's no vitamins or anything like that.
No,
It's
there's
just,
nothing
like, no
for your
energy.
body to go off of. You're just
Yeah.
loading it full of garbage.
Yeah,
essentially.
exactly, right? So it's a total game changer.
Yeah, so that was really like where I had to say like this is it.
So did you find it like a harder transition to kind of go from not cooking at home as much to cooking more?
Well, the thing that really kicked me in the rear end to start doing that was my friend and I did like this 28-day reset.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you caved after like
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
I made it halfway. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, I was there. I remember her caving because me and Dylan were terrible.
Terrible influences.
And like, it doesn't help when me and Dylan are around. Logan is a lot crazier. Like,
And,
he's about
yeah. Yeah, I mean, he was still just as supportive.
Of course.
His thing was that he didn't want to hear me complain about failing it.
Yeah.
But, like, that's really what kicked me into it. So I was cooking every day because if I didn't and I was still on the diet, we went out one day and I couldn't eat.
Yeah, like, that sucks, right?
And then
like,
I was so hungry getting home, and that's the day I caved, right? Like, I hadn't eaten all day. I was so hungry, and then I was like, no, I need food.
Yeah,
Give me food.
Give me food. You gotta eat. So, are you still doing that?
No.
No? Or do you just kind of, like, just trying to aim to get more vegetables and stuff?
I'm trying, but without, like, the diet really kicked me into it. It was like, no, if you're not eating good stuff, you're not eating. But now I'm like, oh, I don't need to care right now. So I almost want to, I want to go back on it. Not to the same degree.
But, like, enough that it'll, like, kind of give you more structure.
More structure.
Yeah.
And more
like,
guidance.
and that way it's, yeah.
I felt so good after that.
For sure.
I was so high energy and, I was just proud of myself. And that really helped as well. And then, I had chocolate milk the day that I had called it quits. And I was like, I can't. It was so sugary, but now I've built back the tolerance, and I'm like, I hate myself for it, because I can drink a medium ice cap now, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to be able to do that, because there's so much sugar.
I mean, I still think you do need to have some sort of, I guess, sugars like that.
Yeah.
Because your body still needs to be able to process it.
Mm-hmm.
And, because I know it was, a no gluten thing, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, no gluten, no dairy, no processed sugar, added sugars.
Yeah.
No processed foods and no alcohol.
Was it the alcohol the hardest part?
It was, yeah. Because you guys had all those,
delicious beers.
Delicious beers around, and it was so hot. And
oh, it was brutal.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't even hot that day because it was raining, because Logan was cooking chicken out in the rain.
Oh, right. That was Friday, wasn't it? Yeah, because I was coming home from work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I remember that. And then, it was...
cooking chicken out in the barbecue in the rain.
Yeah, he probably could have just put it on the deck. It's not like the thing would have burned down.
Nope.
But it's Logan. He I think he'd rather be in the rain than looking at it.
Yep. Probably.
But yeah, so then are you gonna add gluten in the diet then, or just kind of try to keep it a little tailored?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. Not eating, because I was eating more food, but I was also eating better food.
Right.
Instead of reaching for, junk food and those kind of snacks, I was reaching for, vegetables and fruit, because those were the quick and easy things that I could eat that I didn't have to cook.
Right.
Right? So I was eating so much veggies and hummus. That was most of my diet for a while. And, so much quinoa and so much salmon. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was so good for, 2 days. And then I was like, I need something else.
You need something else, yeah.
Garlic powder was my friend because it adds flavor.
That's fair. I guess, quinoa's pretty bland.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I've never had too much of it, but I don't look for it, so.
No.
But I struggled to put on weight, so here I am.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then, so you've been in cadets forever. Yeah. Well, for quite some time.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
How'd you get into cadets?
My brother was in cadets.
Okay.
He's 8 years older than I am. Yeah, 8 years older than I am. And so I was like, I was 12 at the time. And I had just come through, again, another really rough time in my life. And in my house, it was, you need to be doing extracurriculars.
Okay, so you're just not sitting at home doing nothing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or, if you have so much free time, don't just sit around and play video games. Don't just sit around and do whatever. You have to be doing something.
Right.
So that's what I chose, because it seemed like a pretty, well-rounded thing to do. And the rule was you stick with it for a year, or a season if it was sports, because I played soccer as a kid, or like.
Oh yeah.
And dance, it was the same thing. If we're getting you back into it, you're there for a year. You see the year through, and then you can decide, like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
So it just kind of snowballed from there. That also helped me a lot with my social anxiety.
Yeah, because I guess it kind of made you do things that, like, you were definitely uncomfortable with.
Yes, and meet new people, and...
Is that how you met Logie?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I bet you that's a cute story.
Yeah, he joined when we were 14. Yeah, so I had been in cadets for about 2 years at that point. Yeah, two and a bit. I think he joined toward the end of the year.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'd already been there for, like, 2 years, and he kind of strolled in, actually at the same time as one of our really good friends, Daniel.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And then, like, our friend groups kind of...
Kind of just
mixed, yeah. Yeah, and that's really...
Nice.
Yeah.
That guy's a sweetheart.
He is.
He is. You know, he's like the dad of the group for sure.
He totally is. But it kind of makes sense because I'm a little bit of the mom.
And, like, he takes naps. I can't.
He does.
He does, like... He's something special.
He's an old man.
He's an old man in a 22-year-old body. Like,
yeah, I know.
100%.
Yep. He's like 98.
Oh, yeah. He's going to live to be like 100 somehow.
I don't know how, but yeah, it's going to happen.
Yep. And then he's going to like somehow de-age himself and then just keep living.
I mean...
That's just what he's going to want.
That's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was in cadets for 6 years. Yeah.
Okay.
6 years.
Nice.
5 or 6, yeah, around there. Aged out when I was 19.
Yep. And then I guess then that was kind of the end of it.
Yeah, I was temporarily the regimental sergeant major, so I was like top.
Yeah.
That was it. I was the boss.
that was as far as you could go, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I went to camp every year for 6 years, so I was in band because I'm a nerd. So I was a course cadet for 4 years, and I staffed after that. So, like, on course, you're just kind of like, okay, I'm here to learn, I'm here to whatever, and then you're staffing, and you're in charge of these little kids, and
right.
You have a lot more responsibility, but it's good prep, right? Because you just have, like, you have more responsibility, you're
it's
learning.
just kind of it's preparing you for work and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. It was awesome. Where can the people find you?
Everywhere, pretty much. I'm on Facebook at Denby Nelson Cossey. It's just my name. Instagram at Denby Amanda.
Okay.
And Twitter at Cossey Denby, I think that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, she's pretty fun, you know? She posts like cute pictures of her and Logan and stuff. So
Sometimes.
It's always, yeah.
When he lets me.
Yeah. Do you have to get permission?
Well, to get his picture, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't ask permission to post them.
No, that's good, because it's like when Dylan comes over for, like, holidays, my mom's like, you have to get one picture, and you can fuck off.
Yeah.
And then I won't
That's
bug
your
you.
mom's rule.
Yeah, then I won't bug you for the rest. If you keep flinching, I'm going to take many photos.
Oh,
and they're
yeah,
going
you're just
going to
sit here for hours. Yeah.
No, it's awesome. You can find me at Just Koryzma. And don't forget to subscribe when you, because we all know you like this video. And check out the other episodes. They're always great. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.